All right, this is the 2016 Slavens Cross Country Invitational Coaches Briefing, through video, of course. And so I'm going to be going through what your experience should be like, hopefully, from bus unloading all the way to the end of the race. Feel free to send this video to parents so that they have an opportunity to know what to expect as well. So you can just go ahead and forward the link that I sent this to you, and that would make sense. So first things first. We will be selling t-shirts. This is the official logo for the t-shirts this year. So if kids were to bring money or have parents who brought money for the kids, that would be something available for purchase. Also, we will have Jamba Juice in addition to the water and power bar treats that we have. The Jamba Juice is also for purchase. So, first part of your day obviously is coming on your buses, and I'm asking that you unload on ILIF. There'll be no bus parking in the parking lot, so you should unload on the north side of the park, going this way obviously, on ILIF, and then you can have your buses park around the exterior of the park. Once you unload, you're going to come across this field. You'll see where the course is. Maybe pick a color that's a little easier to see. So you'll probably come across, and we will have the timer's tent right here. And this is where you can pick up, you coaches, not parents, can pick up the packets for your runners. In years past, we've had one envelope per kid, and the envelope will include safety pins, their racing bib number, as well as their chip. And there are going to be there's a timer's video on how to secure the chip. Make sure that the kids know that they're going to be going through mud, they're going to be going through water, and their timing chip must be secured and not fall off. We haven't had a big problem with that, but I would definitely reiterate that. So once you get your chips and numbers, you can set up in this area over here. There's a large flat area along this field, and this is a good place for you to have your team meeting area. Other options, obviously you can set up in this area as well, this large grassy area. Just whatever you do, please stay off the golf course. Also, these fields up here tend to be vacant, and we should be gone before the youth sports get there, so that shouldn't be much of an issue. For spectators are going to have to find street parking. There's a small lot right here which is owned by Parks and Rec, so that is an option, but really we're going to ask that spectators park along Logan. There should be parking on either side. Harvard Avenue is another good option for parking, as well as, what is this, Ogden and along here. But obviously they're going to have to find parking in the neighborhoods. There is a school parking area and another park by a vacant school over on this side called Rosedale. So that's another good place to look in that area over there. So once you set up, we are going to have several different races. First, our first race will be 6th grade boys starting at 4 o'clock. Since we are doing 1 lap instead of 2, I'm going to try to space this out a little bit more so that the girls don't have to run through the boys. So I would assume that the girls are going to probably start about 15 minutes after the boys. So that's what I'm going to shoot for, weather depending. So then 15 minutes later we have the 7th and 8th grade boys B race. 15 minutes, okay, maybe 10 minutes later we'll start with the girls race. So then hopefully we can start this a little bit before the A race started, a little bit before 5, and start this race right at 5. And I'll have a final schedule at the coaches meeting. The coaches meeting will be starting at 3:30, and it's going to be at the bleachers near the finish line. So if we look back at our map, the coaches meeting is going to be right here. And I need to probably switch back to yellow. So plan on having your runners with their packets and then come to the coaches meeting at 3:30. Hopefully everyone gets there on time. I know in years past we've had to push it back a little bit based on buses not getting there on time. But ideally we'll start that at 3:30. Now, the race course is different this year. In years past we've had 2 laps. This year we only have 1 lap. The start and finish line are in the same location. The start line is at the end of this field right here, right before the hill. And the start will go this way. We'll be heading east across the field through the basketball and slack line area. There are large poles that kids should be able to avoid, one hopes, but they're very large, they're tall, and we didn't have a problem last year. But there is a slacklining area here. Then they will come across this little driveway that goes to the golf course parking lot. Be careful, make sure the kids know that there is a curb. I mean, obviously there's a curb cut as well, but they need to be careful with their footing right here. And then they'll be following a path. It's a poor asphalt path for just a little bit from this area right here, once they get across the driveway, until this location right here, when they're going to take a soft left and cut across the grass through the trees, and they're going to come up and circle around this tree right here, and then they'll be heading south on the grass just next to the parking lot, but not through the parking lot of this outbuilding right here. And again, they'll be staying on the grass through here. They'll cut over the path, but obviously they're not going to be running on the path. And then they're going to follow the contour of the golf course, but not in the golf course. Run along the wooden fence here. They'll go over a little asphalt bridge right here, and then they're going to come up a hill, and then once they get to almost the top of the hill, they're going to make a sharp left turn, take another sharp left turn, and then they're going to run down this little hill towards the cattails. Once they get to the cattails, there's going to be a little left-hand jog, and then they're going to cross the cattails. Now, in the past, the first couple races, this is really not that big of a deal. It's not trampled down a whole lot, so they're actually going through cattails, and that's kind of cool. In the later races, especially the A race, it's going to get muddy. And so I would make sure that your A-race runners in particular know that they need to have their shoes really tight, because we did lose some shoes in last year when we ran through this. There should be volunteers in this area to help runners through if they need help, but it really should be okay. So then they're going to start running up a hill. They're going to run up a hill around this tree right here. They're going to cut through this little area, sort of a knoll of trees, and then they're going to run back north, not on the path, not on the sidewalk, on the grass, and they're going to run all the way up to this little round garden at the corner of the park. They're going to run around that little garden, and then they're going to cut across this field, up a little, there's a little embankment here, they're going to run up, and then down across the driveway, and then they're going to run on the north end of the SWAT team and the rec center, which is located right here. They will stay on the grass across here, and their first mile marker is right about where they come across the playground. They're going to continue on the grass. They're going to have a soft left that curves around, and then they're going to be running behind the start line. So the start line will have a little corral so that we don't have runners running into the corralled runners who are waiting to start. So they're going to run behind the start line, When they get to these trees right here, there's a very fast downhill with the footing isn't too bad, but it's something to be cognizant of. So they're going to run down this hill, and they're going to get to the gulch. This is going to be our first water crossing. They're going to cross right over here. This is a very soft sand landing. It is fairly wide, so they'll probably have to take 1, maybe 2 steps. And there's about a 3 to 4 foot climb out of the gulch. So they're going to go in and out of the gulch, and then they're going to follow the gulch along the grass until they get to this location right here. And there's a little drainage area here. They're going to go up and around, and there's a little fence that they'll follow. And then they'll curve just a little bit south. They will stay on the grass. They are not going to go on the path. And then they're going to run up the hill, stay on top of the hill until they get to this grove of trees. At this grove of trees, they're going to turn north, left, and come down towards the gulch where they'll have another crossing. Now this crossing is also very wide. The water is very shallow, and it is also very sandy. So they'll go in and out of the gulch, and as soon as they exit the gulch, they are going to make a hard left turn, and they're going to be running in between the gulch on their left side, and there's a hill on their right, which is separating them from the golf course. So they will follow this path in between the gulch and the hill until they get to this point right here where they will cross through the gulch a third time. They'll get out. Again, this is very soft sand here. They'll get out, they'll run up a hill around this clump of trees, and then as soon as they pass this clump of trees, they will stay right, run down the hill back to the gulch, and we are actually the safest crossing here. I checked this out last weekend. The safest crossing is going to be going into this little drainage area and then coming across here. So that's a slight change based on conditions. And this one we will get the rocks out of. Right now it has a lot of rocks, but that's my afternoon activity today. So then they go in and out in here, so they're going to have to run maybe 5 or 6 steps through this area, exit, and then it's going to be a straight shot up to the finish line. And the finish line is going to be a little bit before the field, and then we will have a finishing area over here. Now once they finish, they're going to be stopped in a corral where they're going to have their timing chips cut off their shoes, and our volunteers will do that. Just make sure that your runners do not exit the corral area until they have given us their timing chip. When they exit the timing area, they will have, they'll get a finisher ribbon. It's a green finisher ribbon, and we should have enough for everybody. And then they'll also be able to get power bar chews and water. And the chews and the water will be located in this area over here. I ask that when you have your runners, when their runners have finished, that they stay in cheer. The best places for spectating, and this is going to be really helpful for your parents, at the start, this area right here is going to be perfect for spectators because they will not be in the way at all this year, and they won't be asked to be moved back, and there'll be a little tape barricade here. Another area that's going to be really good for spectating is going to be right here, where you see the runners coming down the hill and then crossing the gulch. Finally, the third best place is going to be all along this finishing straight here down to the gulch. Please, whatever you do, do not go into the golf course to spectate. And there's a fence right about here, so this whole area is off limits. You do not want to go here. So these are the best 3 places to spectate, and that's where you should try to corral your runners and stay for all of the races. Once the last race is done, the girls' A race, we will hold the awards in this baseball field right here. We do get the awards out pretty quickly. We will be giving awards to the top 10 sixth graders, medals for first 5, and ribbons from 6 through 10. We'll also be giving ribbons only for the first 3 finishers in the B race. And finally, we will be giving the individuals in the A race 1 through 5 medals, and then 6 through 15 ribbons. Finally, we will give trophies for the top 5 schools, and that will be the last thing that we give out. We should be done by about 5:30, and at 5:30 you can exit over here. Now, the last thing that I do need to say, and it's about parking, there will be no spectator parking in this area right here. This is for the rec center only, and so we will have volunteers stationed at the driveway as well as right here, going to the driveway for the golf course, that will be stopping traffic, car traffic, and preventing cross-country meet traffic from coming into this parking lot. I hope that helps you visualize what today is going to be like, or Friday is going to be like, and I hope that's helpful for your kids as well as your parents. Can't wait to see you on Friday, and I'll talk to you then.